Don't get too close. Don't visit anyone. Don't come out. Quarantine yourself. You're at risk. I'm at risk. This is the world in which the man with leprosy in our gospel today is living. Required to stay away, not to get too close, stay away from people, not go to church or synagogue, not see his family. And if he dare go out and has to go out, he must sing, "Unclean, unclean," so everyone can scurry away so they won't be infected. That's where we are. Now, mindful, he didn't have any access to Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. There was no great cures or in ICUs for him to go to. All he had was to be isolated. He and everyone like him. Just stay away. But one thing he did have, he had faith, or at least he had great hope that this Jesus was indeed someone who could heal him. Maybe even the Messiah. And so he risked everything to go out and see him. Even the angry crowds of, "Go away, why are you out here?" He risked it all, falling to his knees and begging. He did it with confidence. "If you will it, you can make me clean. If you will it, you can do it." Turbulence. Now, all of us here, for different reasons, have decided to open our doors, to go outside, to come here to church today, to see Jesus, to listen, to receive him in Holy Communion. A risk. For those of you watching on live stream, you have all the right understanding to be cautious. But you took the time to tune in and to listen and to see what God is doing in our lives. We all have something to offer. Many of us are scared, very cautious as we should be. Others pragmatic. Others might see what we're doing coming out as foolish or reckless. One thing I've discovered over this year, and you have too, we all have strong feelings about how the other person is reacting incorrectly. We do have strong feelings, but it's a confusing time. We do have good reason to be cautious. Sacrifice today for a better, safer tomorrow seems reasonable and virtuous. In this situation we're in now, this pandemic, and the pandemic back in the days of Jesus, if we were to superimpose ourselves on that time, the social and political mandates tell us that we should be pretty upset with this man. This man with leprosy came out of his house, came to the crowds, came close to Jesus and fell to his feet, approaching him and asking for healing. If it was today, we would say, he is not following the government mandates. He's not staying away. He hasn't quarantined himself. If it was today, we'd all have our iPhones out and we'd be recording him, right? Get it on social media as soon as possible with the tagline, "Leprosy denier recklessly exposes large crowd." #leprosy kid. Or maybe comments would be like, "He doesn't have the right to risk our lives. Put him in jail. Why can't he listen to the experts?" You see a photograph of Jesus touching him, self-proclaimed rabbi from flyover country of Galilee, claims healing power. He needs to be silenced. Turbulence. We do live in a precarious world filled with many, many dangers. The dangers are ongoing, but the one danger that's always out there is the virus of sinfulness. It's in the air, it's on our surfaces, it's in our society. And many of us, including me, are not as careful as we could or should be. We risk our moral health every day. We live in a spiritual pandemic, and we all see it around us. We know that it hurts us. We know that it even hurts us, others and our family. For whatever reason, we indulge. We don't listen to the experts. We want our freedom. We want it the way we want it. We don't seek spiritual vaccine like reconciliation. We stay infected and spread it to our family and our community, causing turbulence. Turbulence. Yes, the man with leprosy was sick, but he needed help. He knew who could heal him. He knew who could heal him and make him whole so he could go out in community once again. He could worship in community. And he wasn't going to let anything or anyone stop him. As we look forward to this beginning of Lent, can we approach our spiritual health with the same passion, the same tenacity that we're demanding from others and ourselves for our physical health? Is it important to us? Maybe we can take a piece of our experience here that we've received these last years, a page from secular society and healthcare. We can commit ourselves maybe, and I encourage you to, 7 weeks. 7 weeks from Lent, Easter. 7 weeks to flatten the curve. Flatten the curve of sinfulness in the world. Bitterness, pettiness. Each doing our own part to flatten the curve. Just 7 weeks to flatten the curve. Commit ourselves to flatten the curve by increasing our prayer life, moving towards holiness, distancing ourselves from that which is unclean, that which is not good for us, that which is unholy and evil. Life support. What can we do? Put the mask of virtue on. Sanitize our souls often through reconciliation. And follow the experts of our church. And follow the moral guidelines. Just 7 weeks. Our political leaders tell us that would do something. And we did. 7 weeks to bring us back to holiness. Every day on the news I see, and you see, the number of new infections, the number in the hospital, on ventilators, and the daily death toll. It's overwhelming and it makes me angry and it probably makes you frustrated. Who's to blame for this? But what if there was a daily news account of the number of souls infected by sin daily, the number in critical condition and on spiritual life support, and the daily number of souls lost? If we could see the magnitude of the danger, what then? What would we do? Who do we blame for that? If we could see and we could do something to stop the spread, to increase the vaccine of grace, if we could be as vocal about the infection of unholiness that we are about the actions of the pandemic, if we could risk saying something and doing something to save someone else, would we do it? What an impact we could have. For sin is not private. We all go to these super spreader events, not of the current pandemic. We indulge ourselves. A new variant, a new mutant appears. What if we always saw every day the new number of positive cases? We're hoping for getting under 10% in the pandemic. Can we get under 10% of 5% in our own life? Reduce it and flatten the curve. Stop turbulence. One number that's always shown on the news, at least what I watch, but it's not given much attention, is the number of people who have been infected, who have a positive, but have recovered. It's a remarkably high number, about 91% in Iowa. But what if we could see the number of people who've been affected by sinfulness, but who have recovered, who sought out Jesus through reconciliation? If you will it, you can make me clean. What if we could see that number? Get healed, receive grace and strength. Unlike the COVID test and the COVID vaccines, there's no line for reconciliation. There's no shortage. There's no online registration that has to get us frustrated to make a reservation. There's no queue to stand in. All we have to do is show up. It's in ready supply. No waiting. Now, I'd be remiss not to recognize that today is Valentine's Day, a day of love. Love, L-O-V-E, live out virtue every day. Love, seven weeks to flatten the curve, to love deeply, to love others, to love God, and to love ourselves. All we're asking is 7 weeks to flatten the curve. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. We'll be serving the Eucharistic meal in a few moments.
Let's now stand and profess our faith. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord, Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things were made. For us men and for our salvation, he came down from heaven